Welcome to my look at the Terapagos Shine arc of Pokémon Horizons. And though not without its own flaws, I'm at least glad to say, for the most part, it improves a lot with the departure of Liko and Roy. As before, we're going over all of its episodes to determine what works and what doesn't with the story and characters, looking at each episode of the arc as one part of the story. Let's open it up and get started. Picking up where we left off, Liko's grandmother Diana is staying aboard the Brave Olivine for a time. In all fairness, this does make for a much better start to the storyline than the last one. As I pointed out before, though I don't put this anime on the same level as others, there is a better feel for the new creatives want to accomplish this time. Through a journal left to Liko, she discovers she's descended from a legendary trainer known as Lucius. This is another episode that has Dot as a primary focus. There's a lead in the Galar Wild area, which results in much rejoicing. Yay. She apparently never had curry before, but she does warm to the idea. Much more flavorful than supplement capsules. Again, out of the three main children, she's the one most actively trying to better herself. We'll touch on this more in both this arc and the next ones. This is one of a couple episodes that made me wonder where the praise was coming from, especially for people who claimed Horizons as more mature than the previous seasons. I never got that impression. Between this grifter trying to take the Legend Ball and the chase that ensues, not to mention the bits with Dot as neither thing, next it comes off, to me, as more juvenile than even the Indigo League was. However, I did find the joke about the book analog clickbait amusing, I will admit. The most key part is the ending. The culprit, whose name is Tepen, gives everyone an actual lead to the next hero in Galar. This leads to the next episode. 2 episodes after we got an episode about Dots, now we have one focused on their chief engineer Orla. Through the titular Pokeball smith, Karna, who will appear again, the takeaway is this. Orla contemplates leaving the ship, but ultimately decides against it. Makes me glad I decided against reviewing each episode individually. Now, the search for the next legendary hero is on. After a rash of peculiar thefts at sea occur, the culprit must be found. It also turns out the Brave Olivine is one of the ships being compromised. Also, I know some people will be asking if I don't mention this, so here goes. I found the part where Dot drinks Shuckle juice straight from the Shuckle amusing, especially with my knowledge of its effects from the past. The next clue to the mystery Pokemon is in recovering stolen loads of cargo from the nearby harbor. We're going to be talking about these loads for a while, so I'll give anyone who needs to a moment to get the chuckles out of their system. Following the empty loads and the proverbial siren song, after that, the culprit is found. So, the culprit and legendary hero are one and the same. A Lapras that used to belong to Lucius. To be honest, I don't buy the latter as a thief based on Pokedex entries. I personally would have just made him an accomplice to someone else, then leaving after realizing they've been tricked. The ringleader of stealing cargo to me would be a Delmise, or at the very least a Sharpedo, but not a Lapras. Lapras is successfully caught, leading us to the next episode. After Lapras is captured, the shiny Rayquaza re-emerges. The battle that ensues is a highlight of this arc, even knowing what lies ahead for this anime. I will just deal with what happens after the current Japanese arc as it comes. After about 8 or 9 episodes on the ship, it's time, for now at least, for Diana to go. She will return when she's needed again, but this leads to a lull for the next few episodes that's admittedly a minus for me. I will say the going away party that they throw her is cute though. Hmm. This is the first of an odd job storyline where the crew of the brave Olivine have to take on tasks to fund the next leg of their search for legendary heroes. Where there has been praise for its realism, I personally don't feel that detail is as interesting as others. This episode features Freed and Captain Pikachu rescuing a Pokemon from a group of hunters of Paldea for his friend Shine. It's a Bramblin that gets returned to him as Bramblegast. The hunters didn't leave much impression on me, nor the Cap sneezing every time he gets called cute. The lesson about one's ideal partner is important going forward. Mm. Though much of this anime up to this point has been passable at best for me, this episode is the low point of this arc, and the first episode of Horizons I disliked. Though these kinds of goofy episodes featuring characters only show up once were common in years past, here it undermines supposed appeal. The way Renta and Yuno behaved did not help, nor did the fact that Oink alone is a rather divisive Stage 1 monster of Paldea. The basic form of it, Lechonk, has more fans. Hmm. What starts as a routine masonry job turns into the discovery of a family of the Sandile line, prompting Roy and Frey Coco to intervene and save their home. While there's talk of this anime subverting its seniors, this plot thread is played fairly straight. I have to say, it's been done. Not even a feminine variant of Crocodile with pretty eyelashes can save it. That, and for all the claims telling a more serious story, the execution, again, makes it seem goofier than similar stories in the past. This also marks an abrupt end to the Odd Job storyline, with future uses being thankfully kept largely in the background. The story structure did mainly stick to the thread set up previously. This is one case where I can say cutting things short was the right call. I personally wasn't a fan, and it's clear audiences weren't responding to it. As the title suggests, the brave Olivine is on its way back to Paldea when they get a distress call from some tandem mouse. Naturally, their medic, Molly, is the one to take point trying to find and treat them. In one moment I do genuinely like, true to the games, it evolves into Mousehold once the mate finds its partner on the ship. Here, Dot's venture to replace the mic for her streaming setup leads her to a new partner Pokemon, Tinkatank. Their growth through this anime is intertwined, and of the three younger leads, she is the one I think is most effective. Her old mic is even made to a hammer. We'll talk about this more in the next arc review, but I think the storylines around the children work best when they're not entirely reliant on their elder peers, much like in years past. Also, Ludlow musing about Thunder is a pretty solid allusion to his dub voice actor Larry Kenny's work on the Thundercats franchise. Hmm. A new anime inevitably means a new trial separation episode, and this one's at least better than the one Orla got. There's another time to expand on that, but for now, Liko contemplates letting Sprigatito go after spraining her wrist in a training session. I do my best to look at this anime on its own terms, not solely against past seasons. That said, I make an exception here. This episode has strong parallels to Pikachu's goodbye, and for good reason. The elderly Breenier Marnia, who specializes in cat-like Pokemon, encourages them to keep growing together, which also recalls Melanie in the Indigo Plateau. Mm. This is one I am mixed on. On one hand, Dot challenging her mother Franca to a battle to remain the brave Olivine is not bad on its own. On the other, Franca herself is a character who seems out of place for this direction personally. While the battle does end in Dot remaining on the ship, the impact is dulled by Franca being as chatty as Peppermint Patty after a few espresso shots. One change I would make is for Dot to earnestly explain why she wants to remain on the crew and how Franca isn't considering Dot's feelings as opposed to her own. Only a few episodes left, so let's go. Here is the inverse of how I felt about episode 13. Whereas that episode was a divisive one I found alright, here was a more well liked one I personally didn't enjoy. Dot sitting out the beach aside, I personally found this gaggle of photographers called the Snap Boys trying to snap a shot palette image shapeshift more obnoxious than funny. Hate to keep bringing up the games, but a glow of light is all they would see. There are three major details that make it so I can't completely overlook this episode, however. First and foremost, the brave Olivine is back in Paldea after a while. The casual span the rest of this arc and the next one there. Second, get the introduction of the Mighty G, a superhero alter ego for Ludlow along with him being a retired actor. Lastly, the shiny Rayquaza has been sighted yet again, leading to what is functionally a three-part finale to this story arc. Part 1 of this arc's finale starts here. As the Rising Vault tacklers investigate a mysterious tower that was built, with it being spotted in a picture taken in the last episode, a chance to meet a local baker who has a stiff back also gets Lake and Roy a box of freshly baked treats as in a wiglet. Much to the chagrin of Coral, she's further dismayed at the bakery's first come, first serve policy and the seal being broken. The office reply to her is simple: how will you be able to eat the sweet buns without opening them? I still ate my Pokémon Oreos after I shared pictures of them online just like everyone else did. One last word as a skirmish in the second half leads into the next episode. I already pointed out Leiko's I have no idea what to do here in a monologue in the last arc review, so let's continue. Part 2 of the finale picks up from the first, with the Rising Vault tacklers investigating the tower the explorers built. The aim is simple: to partner with the shiny Rayquaza before their enemies do. The way this is accomplished is far more complex and goes off the rails over the span of this half hour. As the multi-battle ensues, it's the admitted highlight of this arc. I will also note this tower is on an island near Levincia, so let's finish this. The third and final part of this arc's finale picks up from before. As a result of the previous episode, both Rayquaza and the brave Olivine are severely damaged. On top of that, the tower that must be stopped is a resonance signal broadcast station. Thankfully, Dot is able to install the program she designed just in time to stop it. As explorers retreat, Rayquaza goes to recover its strength while the ship must be steady as it goes down. Easy prequel meme here. And the circumstance I'd say the Billy Pilot thing is irrelevant. Strap yourselves in. With ships successfully on water, the Rising Vault tacklers on Terapagos are able to convince Rayquaza they're not enemies before the legendary goes to rest. The children decide to learn more about terrestrialization, especially Liko and her newly evolved Florigato. As the explorers bide their time per the Edict of Gibeon, the events of this arc directly impact the next one. Again, not as in this direction as others, but this was a better finale than the one for the last arc. Though the storyline does carry many of the same issues the previous one did, on the whole, Terapagos Shine is an improvement over the previous storyline. The pacing isn't as intolerably slow as the first arc, and when they do use ideas and characters from video games, it works. It's also where there's more of a feel for what the new creator is trying to do with the formula, which will continue in the next one. While both Rayquaza and the brave Olivine being wrecked for now, this functionally means a soft reset for the next arc. Thankfully, said arc is easily the best one with this anime, so my look at Pokémon Horizons will continue next time with a review of Terra's doll debut.